This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Agroland. But before that, this video is brought to you by Bad Habit 99 and CBW Farms LLC. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Agroland map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let's read a little bit of the description. Agroland is a map with soft reliefs, small properties, and preserved vegetation typical of the Brazilian countryside. This map is based in the region of Mato Grosso do Sul, Brazil. Now, I am sure that I have thoroughly butchered the name of the region, but you know what? That's kind of what I'm known for. This map contains 60 purchasable fields, 38 of which have missions. Starting as a new farmer, you have access to a small part of the farm with medium-sized machinery and implements. It also has a cow pasture and a free-range chicken coop. On the map, there is a quarry where you can buy the land and transform stones into limestone. There is a discounted forested area. In addition, there is a city where you have multiple buy points and sell points for all of your products. In addition, if you are looking to get water, you can draw it out of the river or lakes. This map does include an additional crop in pinto beans, and this map does also have a custom growth schedule or crop schedule to reflect the region. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods. We typically use them to take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is completely void of buildings. In addition, you do not own any land at the start, and you do not have any machinery. The only exception is you do start with the cow pasture in all play modes. So here we are, loaded up into new farmer mode. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. You're going to see this map is composed of mostly square or rectangularly shaped fields, and we do have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map. In addition, we do have pinto beans as an additional crop. Taking a look at our lands area, we start out with Farmland ID 1, which is the main starting farm. That can be bought for $285,840 in any alternate play mode. Then we also have Farmland ID 2, which is $234,720, and it includes Field 2. In addition to that, we do have a couple other animal areas on the map. We have Farm ID 48, which includes sheep. That can be bought for $122,768. We have pigs at Farmland ID 49. That can be bought for $65,439. And at Farmland ID 50, we have horses. That can be bought for $47,488. As mentioned in the description, we do have a structured forest here that can be bought for $74,000. And then the lime mine is going to be able to be bought for $86,000. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen shows us all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. As you can see, our field and farmland numbers are matching up 1 through 38. That is always nice to see. And then if we take a look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. You can then cross-reference the field number with our farmland lease farmland number to then see how much it's going to cost to buy any one field. We do have the generic soil map that is applied to this map. Let's go ahead and see how it is being applied to these fields. We have a nice mix of loam, sandy loam, and loamy sand scattered kind of in the middle of the map. To the south and north, we do have the introduction of some silty clay. Specifically, field 1, which is one of our starting fields, is entirely silty clay, whereas field 2 is a combination of silty clay, loam, and sandy loam. Take a look at our crop counter. We do have quite the varied crop counter here, and since we are talking about a southern hemisphere map, the crop counter does start us out in February as opposed to August. Now, I do believe that we would have the potential to double crop some crops on this map if we study this crop calendar enough. In addition, we have 2 planting and 2 harvesting times for our pinto beans. Taking a look down through the prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, when we move down through our base game production items, we have the ability to sell most of our base game production items, but we are lacking in one particular area, and that is we do not have the ability to sell chocolate. That is actually the only thing that we do not have the ability to sell as far as our production goes. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime, and we also have a stone crusher pre-placed on the map in the lime production. We do have the ability to sell our pinto beans at 2 locations. And then with respect to our platinum expansion, we do not have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion production items without putting our own sell point down. Now, lastly, if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you will be happy to know that we do have the ability to sell our separated manure at MR Bales. Taking a look at our starting vehicle fleet, we do start out with a decent listing of vehicles. It is all new, none of it is leased, and is all fairly well maintained. We do start out with 120 chickens. Or I guess I should say specifically 119 chickens and 1 rooster. As we can see, they do have some grain, but I don't know how long that is really going to last with 120. We do have contracts available on this map. We do not own any production chains at the start, and this map does not have any collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the New Holland T6 175 small tractor, the T7 315 HD medium tractor, and then we also have the Mack Superliner 6x4 truck. And then for the semi, we have a set of Distinction Super B trailers, the lead and pull trailer. We also have the Brandner TA 23065 2 Power Tube Plus trailer and the Welder DK 115. We have our New Holland C770 harvester that is paired up with the Superflex 25-foot grain header. And then we have a harvester trailer with the N40BX. We have our 1986 pickup truck as well as a front-mounted forage harvester in the LH2. And then we also have a forage harvester header in the 345 Plus. Interestingly enough, we do not have a forage harvester for that last forage harvester header. It's kind of interesting. We do have the ES Pro 6000 RC seeder. We also have the Vantage 4300 herbicide and liquid fertilizer sprayer. We have the GMD 4411 side mower, as well as the GF 8712 tedder, and the Merge Max 950 windrower. We have the VB 3190 round baler. We have the Q4M front loader arms, and for the front loader arms, we have a pallet fork, and then we round it all out with a 1500 and 1000 kilogram front weight set. We do not have any vehicles leased, and this map does not include any custom vehicles or implements. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and kind of check out the farm here. Coming up to our farmhouse, we have our chicken coop right here by our front loader arms, and we can hold 120 chickens, and we have 120 chickens at the start. We have our egg spawn point and our food trough located right there. A nice open easy shed for our implements. You can stack bales in there as well. And I think you can pretty much hear the birds around here are rather loud. We have our Holt Bellaroon farmhouse. So we have our wardrobe trigger in the garage. We have our sleep trigger here at the front porch. Another small shed here with more of our machinery. And then we have our silo with our dump and fill point. And that is pretty much the main starting farm. I stand corrected. That is how all that is set up. I'll tell you what, I have not used this LH2. So when I saw the forage harvester header, in previous versions of Farm Sim, we had a 3-point hitch front forage harvester that included a header with it. So that's why I was thrown back for a little bit of a loop. Now down the road here, we've got our gate, and this is going to be the cow pasture. 250 cows in this building. We have our water trough. We have our food trough. We have our milk trigger. We have our slurry trigger. And then this is likely going to be our dump point for our straw. That is pretty much the main starting farm. Now, I will tell you that I did try to sell everything here at the farm, and I was indeed successful. If you get rid of this cow area, the entire fenced area vanishes. So you just have a nice kind of open grassland. Then everything else down here at the farm can also be sold. Let's give a little bit of altitude and take a quick look around. While we're looking around, I'll tell you that this map includes 13 production items being built in. We have 2 spinneries. We have a sawmill, a lime plant. We have a tailor, bakery, carpentry, cereal, dairy mill, sugar mill, oil mill, grape processing area, and then a grain mill. Let's go ahead and kind of make our way just over here to the east. And we're coming over here to the pig area. And if you do buy these additional animal areas, you can also sell those as well. So as far as our scoring goes, can the farm or farms be customizable? The answer is yes. They are completely and totally customizable. And during the drive around, we'll go ahead and buy those. That way we can go ahead and see where all the triggers are popping up. We do have a train sell point on this map, and below we have our train transfer silo. So our train dump and fill point. We have then our trailer dump and fill point. We have our rent train trigger there as well. Just up from that, we have then the lime production. And you can see once you buy this land, you'll be able to scoop up these rocks and deposit them into the stone crusher here, and then it will output lime. And then we also have a little bit of lime already piled up here from a previous production. So you can also make use of that lime if, of course, you buy the land. Moving across the southern edge of the map, we also have a sheep area, which is located right here. We have a 3-bay kind of garage on the lower level. Then we have the sheep area here on the upper level. Again, we're going to be buying all of those farmlands when we do our drive around. One thing that we did miss during the farm tour is our silage bunker down here by the railroad tracks. We're going to find our carpentry, as well as another rent train trigger. Then we have a little bit of a structured forest here as well. So with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, we are going to be giving the map a full point because we do have 13 production items being pre-placed on the map. Now over here we have area 50. This is where we have the horses. And we actually have our semi staged over here already. And then coming up to the northern part of the map, this is where we're going to find pretty much all of the sell points and the remaining production items. So we have our sawmill here. We have one of our 2 spinneries located right here. It is flagged as MR Wool. Stuck on something. We have a bale sell point. We have a sell point for our wood or wood chips here at the biomass heating plant. We have our dairy. We have our animal dealer. Coming into town here, we're going to find sell point. We have our bakery. We have our second spinnery. We have our grape processing area. We have our dealer. We have a second dealer trigger over here behind the gas station. And then we have a sell point here at Mama Joe's Diner and at the grocery. In addition, we've got a little bit of football field here in town. And then the balance of our production is going to be over here in the northeast corner. This is where we're going to find our flour mill, or grain mill, I should say, as well as our oil mill, our cereal mill, and our sugar mill. We have a lime fill point there, as well as a grain sell point. With respect to the ability to sell our vacuum crops, production items, and animal outputs, I am going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there because we are lacking the ability to sell chocolate. We do have a dairy, by the way, so we do have the ability to produce chocolate. Our dealer trigger is just inside the door here. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra, see where our vehicle spawns in. So a decent area here for our vehicles to spawn in at. Maybe one could argue it's a little smaller than it could be. But again, I don't think these fields are overly that large. This shouldn't be that big of an issue. We do have a dealer trigger located right here inside the service bay. We do have markers indicating that. Let's just see if those are accurate. They are indeed accurate. And then we might as well look across the street. We also have another dealer trigger here in the back of the gas station. So that is a secondary dealer trigger. And we got those marked right there. Now, across the street from our shop, we do have a sell point here at the Italian restaurant. We've already talked about our fuel depot and Mama Joe's Diner and the grocery sell points. We have another restaurant sell point here. Our farmer's market sell point across the street. And then we have our base game bakery. Their interactive icon, dump point, and pallet spawn point around the back. We also have our second spinnery located here. We have our dump point. Pallet spawn point should be right here as well. Let's see if it's marked anywhere else. Our interactive point. We have our Taylor over here on the right. So we have our Wardo trigger on the front. Our pallet point. We have our dump point. Then we have our interactive point on the side. Our grape processing facility. Interactive point, pallet point, and dump point where we expect. Let's make our way down here to production row, I guess we'll call it. Not a super hilly map, but also not pancake flat. Watch out for the AI vehicles. They do indeed brake check. Get a little close to them and they just freak out, man. They just panic. We got our flour mill, dump point, interactive point, and pallet spawn point. We have our oil mill. Everything where we're going to be expecting it. We have our cereal factory. Again, everything where we kind of expect it to be. And then finally our sugar mill. Dump an interactive point around the back. Pallets an interactive point. Dump around the front. So let's go ahead and take a look here at this silo. We have a line buying point and then the warehouse sell point. Located right here. See if we can make our way down to the pig area. It's going to be right here between fields 26 and 27. There we go. Nice little farm sign at the entryway. Down at the pigs, we have our water point. We have our food trough. We have our pig buy area. 30 pigs for here. And that appears to be about it for the pigs. Got a little bit of a placeable area here. We do have a 3-bay garage. This can be sold, and if you wanted to, you could also sell the pig area as well. Let's go ahead and check out the build mode while we're here. We have all standard silos, sheds, extensions, containers, tools, and we do have under farmhouses, oddly enough, the 3-bay garage. This is just a garage from Erlengrot. He's from Erlengrot in 19 at least. As far as productions go, we have our standard productions, and then we have a lime production here that is built into the map. Sell points are all good. Standard greenhouses, generators, animal areas are all built in. So no custom animal areas like this one that we can put back down. Decorations all standard, and as far as our ground textures go, fairly standard assortment of ground textures. We do have a custom paintable plant in meadow. And then we have standard trees. Let's make our way down to the train transfer silo next. As I said earlier, we do have a train on the map that we can sell off the map to. This is where we're going to have to bring our grain and such down in order to do that at the train. So we have our dump and fill points. We got the train silo. We have our rent train triggers. And then we have our train dump and fill point there on the tracks. Just south of train transfer silo, we have our lime production. And once we buy this land, we're going to be able to scoop up the rocks from the cliff faces here, place them into our lime production. That's going to be able to be bought for $4,000. Not very expensive at all. We have our input, and then we have our output pipe. Then, as I mentioned during the flyover, we also have a nice little pile of lime here to get us going. But we can't do anything with it until we buy the land. So make our way over to the sheep area now. Farmland ID 48. We have a road that parallels the train. That train is coming. So you should see that over here to our right. There's the train. And another nice farm sign. The same 3-bay garage down here at the lower level. And then up and around, we have our sheep. 60 sheep available for this facility. I am assuming our wool's going to spawn in here, even though it's not marked. Would like to see it marked, unless we see some other area marked that's kind of hidden here in the grasses. And we have our food, and then we have our water. I'm looking. I don't see any more markers. There's our sheep. That would be an interesting area where you could sell that all off and kind of have a farm that's 2 different levels. We've got some pre-planted sugar cane, if that's up your alley. You're looking for a nice map to do some sugar cane on. Here we have the road going up through our main starting farm. Right there. Coming over here to the carpentry. Another rent train trigger there. We have our carpentry facility, interactive point, dump point, wood, cell trigger, and pallet spawn point for our furniture. As far as buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique, as well as ground textures, I'm going to be giving the map a full point there. Overall, we're using standard FS22 buildings throughout. And fairly standard ground textures as well. Another structured forest right there. Making our way up to the horse area. And the horse area, again, is where we're going to find our Mack truck and trailers. $10 horses for here. We have our water, and then we have our food. We do have a secondary farmhouse up here as well. And we'll make our way up to the final series of sell points in the northwest corner, kind of along the main drag up here. First thing we're going to come to is our animal dealer. Right there. Then we're going to have our biomass heating plant area. So we're at dump point. We have a wood cell trigger there as well. In front of that, we have our dairy. So we have our pallet point, dump point, and interactive icon here at the front, which is kind of structured on the side. Right here we have two things. We have a bale sell point located right here. And then this is MR wool. And MR wool is actually a production. So we're at dump point. We have an interactive point here to buy, MR cotton. This is a production point. It does make wool, it does make fabric. So it's basically the second spinnery. We have our pallet spawn point there. And the last thing is going to be our sawmill, which is right across the fence. So as far as interactive areas being clearly marked, we've got a couple areas where we didn't really see that like we would like to. So I'm going to give the map 3/4 of a point there as well. So that's going to give this map a score of 4.5 out of 5 if we had the ability to sell chocolate. And if we had the proper markers at a couple of these other areas, like the sheep farm and, what was it? It was the other spinnery that was missing the corner markers. Then this map would have scored a full 5. So we have our MR Woods, 5 for our sawmill. Our wood cell trigger. We have our dump point for our logs. We have our spawn point for our planks over here. And then we have our wood chip point there as well. So guys, that is going to do us for the map for Agroland. I'd love to hear your all's thoughts down in the comments below. What you're thinking of this Brazilian map. I do like to see southern hemispherical maps having a custom growth schedule that reflects the changes in the seasons with respect to starting in February, which is going to be when their autumn is, as opposed to starting in August, which is when the northern hemisphere's autumn is starting. And that way we kind of have that assembly of, hey, I'm in the southern hemisphere. Things are not the same as they are, let's say, in Europe or North America. I'd love to hear what you all think as well with respect to those custom crop counters and growth schedules. I'd love to see more of them make their way into maps. And if somebody can figure out how to, add custom so they can drop those in, that would be awesome as well. Until next time, happy farming.